Hello, we are Anna, Caitlin, and Veda, sophomores from Henry M. Jackson High School in Washington. Today, we will be presenting on the topic of increasing education access within Uganda. We have chosen to present on this topic as this is a subject we are very passionate about. Quality education is something that everyone should have access to. We request that for this presentation, the judges play the roles of investors. In return for investing in our nonprofit program, we offer partial ownership of 35% to the investors.
In the midst of all of the world problems occurring at the moment, we've decided to focus on increasing access to education, more specifically, reaching out to countries struggling to properly provide for their children, starting with a small town in Uganda called Kabaramido. In this democratic African country seeking betterment, there are 3 schooling levels, yet the rates of graduation from all are limited. So we're hoping to not only educate students, but also motivate and prepare them for future possibilities. Currently in Uganda, the 3 schooling system levels consist of 7 years of elementary, 4 years of lower secondary, and 2 years of upper secondary. Only about 40% are literate by the end of primary school, and of those that graduate, only about 24% even enroll in secondary education. On top of that, children with disabilities are also often excluded from formal schooling because of the shortage of special needs teachers and facilities in the area. We hope to increase this number and help the number of people in Uganda reach for a better future, even if we can only do so in small doses. This is a visual representation of the enrollment and completion of schooling of children in Uganda. As shown, most children of primary school age are enrolled in primary education, but the known graduation rates are significantly lower. Enrollment and acceptance into further or higher education is also very low. The same applies to children with mental and physical disabilities. It is also shown that more than half of the teachers aren't giving proper teaching instruction to the students.
Secondary education in Uganda is generally inaccessible to most students. Issues such as early marriage, teenage pregnancy, abuse, and school fees disproportionately affect children, especially girls, and prevent them from continuing their education. This then feeds into some of the main reasons the economy has experienced a series of issues and setbacks in rising to a stable position. This cycle of dilemmas is largely the result of the lack of resources and support, with the corruption within the government assisting in making matters worse. We hope to start small, with only a couple of groups, and then expand into something that helps further improve the state of wherever this program can reach. If solving government corruption and the state of the economy was an accessible option, then we'd reach for the stars. But starting small and with real people is a good way to get the dominoes falling.
We believe that a potential solution for this problem would be to remotely educate children of a younger age at first in Kabaramido, Uganda, using donated materials in order to motivate and educate them, potentially providing a future for them where they can protect and help themselves. We hope to at least begin to reduce the numbers of people suffering from misinformation of the human body or ways to help themselves, and to eventually expand this to not only other parts of Uganda, but also to a wider range of students.
To briefly describe our project, we're planning on taking 4 groups of 20 students ages of about 5 to 7 to join our program. The program will be active 4 days a week on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Group 1 will be coming on Mondays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and Group 2 will also be on Mondays and Thursdays, but from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Both groups will have a shared lunch period from 12 to 12:30 p.m. The same will apply to Groups 3 and 4, just on Tuesdays and Fridays. 2 supervisors will be responsible for Groups 1 and 2, and being with them on those days, while the remaining 2 supervisors will be responsible for Groups 3 and 4. We'll also have a spokesperson who is always accessible to them in case they need anything or run into a problem.
In order for this idea to be of utmost success, there are some things to consider. Devices containing online materials, Wi-Fi, shipping costs, supervisors, and food items will be supplied through donations and funding from the investors. 2 supervisors per 20 children would be necessary for proper direction of the children. Additionally, we will have to set up a cellular system in the area so that the children will be able to access the internet and any online materials or textbooks. And finally, we will have to consider the property costs of where we are going to set up for the kids to come in and learn. We will need to find a place that is reasonable for them to get them in multiple times a week. The potential timeline for our project is as follows. Starting mid-July, we will discuss financial matters with the investors and get those things sorted out. Then by August, we will begin reaching out to the Ugandan government with our proposal. We will also be setting up online fundraisers to raise funds for our project. In October, we will interview and hire 4 supervisors as well as a spokesperson to join our program. After all these initial steps, we will formally begin our project in December. We will contact our spokesperson in Kabaramaito to sort out specifics for setting up and starting the program in the area.
Once specifics are sorted out, we'll begin sending materials over to Kabaramaito and gathering children to come attend our program. After all the supplies have been sent, we will allow for some time for setting up in Uganda and check in with the spokesperson about the program setup in January. If nothing else needs to be changed, then the program should also start around mid-January. The goal is for us to check in with the spokesperson monthly after initiation to see what to change or improve for the future.
This here is the exchange between the dollar and the Ugandan shilling as of March 9, 2021. Of course, it's always fluctuating, but being able to see the difference between the two currencies will aid in understanding the prices of living better and working out the appropriate amounts to provide. This will help better explain the large difference between the numerical monetary value on the following slide.
If we're to discuss actual numbers, then looking at the approximate income of Ugandan families and average shipping prices, a reasonable and approximate budget per school year would be about $60,000. The supervisors who work 2 times a week would each be paid about $410 equivalent to about 1.5 million Ugandan shillings every month. The spokesperson would be paid $680 which is equivalent to about 2.5 million Ugandan shillings every month as well. We'll have to ship electronics about once, and that will cost approximately $25,000. Food expenses would be $800 monthly. And finally, the shipping expenses for that would total to about $4,000 a month.
As mentioned before, there are education pathways within Uganda that have been established already, but they all have low graduation rates and are often discriminatory to the poor and disabled. Through our program, we hope to be successful and provide for those in Uganda, beginning with Kabaramaito and then expanding further in order to help where we can. The educational system will be inclusive and accessible for anyone of any background, with more flexible content and learning pace, which could cater to higher graduation rates. Taking into account all of our ideas, aspirations, and even finances, we believe that with the participation of people who also wish to work towards creating a better world, we will be able to achieve our goal and educate the children of Uganda. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to build our own path to the world so we can help others create theirs.
Thank you for the great initiative, that idea that you have. One question I have is, what is that is missing in the Uganda education system that you think remotely you will be able to address it better and increase the graduation rate or the literacy in that country?
Well, primarily, a lot of students are not able to go to school because they have to help their parents. And with the longer school hours, it may be difficult for them to be able to go. So having the shorter school hours with more flexible learning content to adjust to their learning abilities will help them stay motivated and be able to just continue on with school while worrying about other problems.
Do you think like creating those kind of flexible schools locally and setting up will be a better chance and better success than doing the remote education?
Yes, if anything, it like alone, it will help just with the general schooling system in order to enhance the students' learning and just be able to provide extra support for them where they need it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And following up on that question, I was curious if you're thinking of this program as a substitute for government-run schools, or if it is a supplement to add to those.
In the direction that we're going at first, since it's not going to be a big program, it's going to be more of an off to the side. We're thinking of more of a supplement, kind of a support in order to help children through their schooling and make sure the rates go up. But if things get going and we're able to continue with proper support, we're hoping that it will be able to replace the system or at least be integrated into their system.
Okay, thank you. And then another question, I'm curious, given the somewhat dismal statistics you cite at the beginning of the presentation about literacy rates, have you given any thought to how you're going to find your supervisors, people who have the knowledge to be able to impart?
Yes, we've actually begun to reach out to people and organizations that already have a position in Uganda. And we believe that if we're able to collaborate with them, then we should be able to get a spokesperson who is able to find people who are able to support the children with the time that they have.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.